Episode 18.
Yep.
Man, time flies.
Time flies, yeah.
When you're having fun.
Yeah. We're pretty much at the, really close to the middle of the year actually.
Mid-year, that's right.
Yeah. So
Man, oh man, oh
I think the first half of the year we can say has been the work half. And
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
The grind, yeah, putting the credits in the bank.
Okay. You think it's all gonna? You think it'll pay off? What we've done?
So. I think
you think so? It's been a bit of a mental struggle this last week. I'll be honest.
But you know what? Your style is basically last minute. So I think in December you're suddenly.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm suddenly gonna. Yeah, I'm waiting for it. To be frank with you, I'm kind of waiting for this breakthrough. You know, and it's yeah, it's a tough go. You know, I realize you got to put the training in, but it's not a linear thing, is it?
Nope. No, not at all.
So when's the breakthrough coming, Malc?
When's the breakthrough coming?
Yeah, because you're the coach. I mean, you must know.
When the body decides. Basically, that is really what it is. Okay. The body responds in leaps and bounds. It's kind of like, you're going to plateau for a bit, and then you're going to have this leap, and then you're going to plateau a bit.
Okay.
And I think that is hard for people to compute because they want to plan ahead, and they want to say, this is going to happen this date, and that isn't how running training works.
It's not how it works, eh?
No.
I think we like, we us runners like to see a little bit of a linear progression, but boy, in this running it doesn't seem to work that way. It's like like you seem to be stuck on this certain pace and so on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, right?
You got to have faith. As
George
Michael once said.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I guess that's just what I need, a bit of faith, right?
Yeah, and that is the funny thing about running, like compared to other sports, like more skill-based sports.
Yeah, I guess
is that you have to believe. It trains you to be really good at just believing that something positive is going to happen.
So I guess sticking to the program. I mean, this is where it wouldn't surprise me, and I can totally understand it if as a runner you sort of. A lot of folks just say, well, it's not working. And it's just not working. I don't see a change, and so why bother? And I can see that because that's exactly how I'm feeling right now is a lot of work, a lot of training, and it seems, boy, it just doesn't seem to be coming.
Right. Yeah, you got to have faith.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so keep going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Don't give up because, people will give up. People will often sort of back off, give up, and they could just be a few weeks away from.
Well, I tell you what, so this is what I'm going to do, all right?
Because you're committed to this year anyway.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
I think that's what you said.
Yeah, well, I said that, but I mean that's the thing. I mean that's the thing, and I think it's good to have these races along the way.
Yep.
And I've got the 10K coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped about that. It's there's some self-doubts, but I think well, tomorrow, for example, I've got a pretty crazy session, which is 1 minute fartleks, right?
Yeah, and
this is going to be interesting. I'm quite looking forward to it. Yeah. Because I struggled on the 3-minute ones, the 3-minute and 2s.
That's right.
But I almost feel 1 minute. Okay, I can do 1 minute at a certain pace. I think I can, but you've got me down to 20.
Oh yeah.
20.
We're not messing around.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it's a big one tomorrow, and then basically we head into the weekend, and I think it's the regular easy run, club run on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And then the longer run on the Sunday. So you know what? I'll make a commitment. I'm going to hang in there until the 10K.
Okay.
Well, no, but this is the trick. No, this is the trick, Mark, because
go on, then.
one thing I talk about when I talk about having a finish the race attitude.
You do. That is your.
That's my thing. That's my thing. Setting goals and overcoming obstacles to achieve your full potential. Yeah. One thing I talk about is chunking down.
Yes.
Is taking it in bite-sized pieces. And at the moment, I'm feeling not the best about some of the training I've done. Yesterday, I a little bit of shortness of breath. I don't know what was going on. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to think about doing the 10K in a week and a half. Okay. That's it. That's it. I'll commit to that.
Cool.
I will do that.
Yeah.
I will be here for one more episode. All right, and
because you've got to explain the result after.
Well, I may not be here, mate. It may be over, but no, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna stick to the 10K.
Okay.
I mean, probably will be back. But you know what I'm saying? I think you got to just say, look, let's just see how this goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
To a certain degree?
It does. I understand where you're coming from. The shorter distances that we've been looking at so far, they're all kind of building toward the bigger one, you know. So, and we know we're going to attack the marathon toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm just saying, I'll do that. But I'm just saying, in my head, because I'm not happy.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not happy, you know.
Yes.
Then I think I've just got to say, okay, let's just try and do the best I can in the short term, because I do know that if you give it your best shot in the short term, the building blocks will lead to a better result at the end.
Yes, and you have to go. You don't achieve anything of any real meaning unless there's some kind of struggle on the way.
Well, I know, Mark, but I've had a few struggles. You know, it's been a tough go. Not complaining, but you know, that stupid injury with the skating industry. Remember that back in episode whatever that was. Terrible. But I'm over it. I'm over that.
Yeah.
But now it's taking me longer to get the old bod in you know, what I would think is fighting shape, as I call it.
So here's something. Last week you did a Thursday workout,
and that was good. The progressive.
Right. Okay.
Really, that was one of the ones I've enjoyed the most recently.
Right,
I was quite actually encouraged with the progressive, which is maybe explain what that is.
Yeah, the progression run is something that's I don't know how common it is here in like Canada, for example, but because I think I've said it before and people looked at me blankly. But in East Africa, for example, it's extremely common. It's been done that way for decades, which is that you always a progression run is basically when you start out very casual. The coach would calculate what that means for you in pace, but you gradually build the pace up. Every 5 minutes or so you go a bit quicker, and it's kind of like it reminds me of being at school, or when I was actually in the Air Force before, of doing shuttle run tests, where you're running backwards and forwards.
Is that the beep test?
Yeah.
The beep test, yeah.
It reminds me of that.
That's quite common in schools.
It gets harder and harder as you go along. And because you're going faster and faster toward the end, but you're more and more tired. So there's this kind of double compound effect of what's happening. But if you persevere and you go to the end and get through it, the training stimulus then is huge.
Well, I really enjoyed, that was one that I started off at a certain pace, and then quite frankly, it's kind of tricky to try and do it in 5 minute increments. So I actually did it, and you may not notice, but I did it in kind of 20-minute blocks.
Okay.
So I had started off slow, say 20, then sped up a little bit, then sped up a bit more, and then one more, and it was good. But I think it took quite a bit out of me. I think, and then I paid the price on the weekend with the long run kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
that's totally cool. That's totally cool, because your body then has to learn. Part of the training process is not just doing an individual workout and the effect of that, but it's also the body has to learn how to recover off a workout to go into the next one.
Okay.
There's only one way to do that, which is to push it and force it to learn. But what I didn't really mind too much about the weekend's workout, because Saturday's workout was quite slow running. It
was, I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, but
again, a lot of disappointments.
I know. But actually, on balance, it's net positive, because the Thursday workout, actually, when you look at your heart rate and your pace, it's good.
It was good, wasn't it?
It is good, because you averaged around 4:33 pacing.
Yeah, I know.
And your heart rate was just under anaerobic threshold. So what those runs tell me is I ignore the tough stuff where it's a bit of a struggle. The good ones, what they're telling me is where you're actually at. If you, for instance, that relates to a half marathon, what you just did on Thursday.
Okay.
So it gives me an indication of, like, if you went,
something there.
Yeah. So I don't say too much about it, but in the background.
No, you don't. You actually say very little about it, Malc.
Because I
think maybe you could say a little bit more about it.
Because I don't like building up expectations.
No. Okay, but just a smidgen more. Just a little, just a little tiddly bit more.
But I'll just tell you that we're still on. Yeah, we're still fine. We're still on course.
Well, I guess. Okay.
So when I say, like, keep the faith, that's because I do have a bit of inside knowledge that says keep going.
Oh, yeah, I tell you, you're sneaky. You're a sneaky coach. Anyway, that's good to know, because it's been a bit of a weird couple of weeks. But the progressive one stood out as one and that's a good one, folks. That's because you start off slow, so you sort of the body. The other thing is the body's getting used, and then you kind of you just crank it up a bit, and and it was. But I did find a course that was fairly not too hilly.
That's right.
And that was important, so I could keep focused on what I was trying to do there. So,
if you only ever run hilly stuff all the time, you basically really just kind of wear yourself out a little bit, like mentally.
Yeah, well, the course I have has a couple of big hills, so it's hard to, if I'm doing something like the progressive or even a fartlek type of run, it's very difficult to do it. So, okay, so all right, so we're heading now towards 1 week before the 10K. So presumably next week's going to be a little different.
Not much.
Well, I mean, not much. I mean, surely we've got to now back off a little bit.
Not that much, no, not really.
Okay.
So what happens is more often than not, I see people back off and they just lose speed in the race.
Okay.
So what we'll do, you see, the thing is, it's controlled by what you'd normally do in a standard week. So where you're doing the 4 workouts and your long run is around 20 kilometers, about 20
to 22.
20 to 22. And what you don't need is a big taper before a 10K race.
Okay.
Because your body is used to 4 workouts a week and a long run of 22K.
Okay.
So, we don't taper very much.
No. Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. So next week will be the regular Tuesday, but Thursday may be a little different. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, you're thinking. I can tell you're thinking. Yes, Martin. We may change it a little bit.
What we'll do is just on Thursday we will just bring down what I call the volume, which is basically how many kilometers the workout is.
Okay.
But we will not.
You want to keep? But you're not going to change the pace, right?
No. Absolutely not.
Got it. Okay.
So big mistake if you do that. Before a race, doesn't really matter what the distance is. Maybe if it's an ultra, it's different, but essentially you have to keep intensity up. So intensity is the pace, but we drop volume, and volume is the distance that you run.
Okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because
it's going to be, well, that particular race, and we'll talk more about it next week, because I will be here next week. Okay?
Sure.
It's a point-to-point downhill.
It is, yeah.
And that's what I'm pretty excited about, I must admit.
Yeah, and you can imagine if we drop the pace on the Thursday run there, your cadence drops. That's really critical. And we don't want to do that, because we want to train your body. We want you to go to the start line with your body understanding how to turn over fast.
Okay.
Because when you're on a net downhill course, you need fast turnover.
So next week, I really want to talk about race plan for a 10K. Next week. Okay, let's save that. Let's save that one, okay? Because I think that's a distance. Wow, it's probably the most popular distance. I'm guessing now. I could be wrong here for runners. The 10K.
Once you're into the experienced runners. Yeah. So the total beginners, the most popular distance is a 5K.
Obviously, but they very quickly want to get to the 10. It seems like the 10. It's one of those distances that when you're training, you put in sort of an hour. You put in that long enough training, it really has an effect. So I think there'll be a lot of interest in that next week, Mark.
Yeah. 10K is an interesting one. It is the 5K we talked about before. You can kind of burn up and just sort of redline the whole race really. Okay. 10K, not quite so simple. You've got to go that little bit longer. So a 10K is the first distance up, where you start to think about.
Let's stop it right there, Mark. No, seriously, let's stop it right there, because I think that's going to be a very interesting discussion next week. Just want to let you know I'm feeling better now.
After Saturday?
No, after talking to you today.
Oh, cool. Okay.
No, I was pretty down this morning, but now that we've had our chat, I think, and that's the important thing as well, isn't it? Yeah. it's trying to do something all on your own as well is difficult.
Very, very difficult.
So it's good to have a coach or have somebody to say, look, I'm on, this isn't working. What am I? Yeah. And then the coach can come in.
To do it on your own is like where you have really ambitious goals, so you're really pushing yourself.
Tough, eh?
It's very, very tough. Yeah. But also, not only is it tough, but you're just wide open to not hitting the numbers and not achieving the goal and just running out of steam, basically, and focus. I mean, we talked before about the story with Norm. I mean, last weekend, this guy Norm that I coached.
I've heard of Norm.
On Saturday, he won the Footstock 10K in a PR that was by 12 minutes.
Right.
In the 10K.
Very good.
And that was a week after his huge PR in the marathon.
Excellent.
But the funny thing about Norm is, so I started 11 months ago coaching him. Prior to that, he did what you said. He just ground away on his own. Okay. He had no coach. He had bits and pieces of different training plans to follow, and what was it on the internet basically, and that's the difference. It's like it's not that he doesn't like put the effort in on his own. It's like, but you just don't have like a good coach should be kind of like when you're running, you feel like there's an invisible hand on your back pushing you forward. It should feel like there's momentum about what you're doing.
Okay.
And when you're running on your own, it's more like a fight. It's more like a battle between you and the process.
Sure.
Because you just don't have that feeling of like somebody's pushing me and there's kind of like momentum pushing me forward. But
there we go.
Yeah.